Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So, welcome everyone for today's journey through Bhagavad Gita. I don't remember the session number, but anyway, we are going to continue from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, verse number 9. So, just a quick revision. Second chapter is called Atma Anatma Vivek Yoga by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So, what is body, what is soul, and the Vivek, the difference between the two. Srila Vedvyas calls it as Sankhya Yoga. Okay. So, and Srila Prabhupada has given a different name. He says, contents of the Bhagavad Gita summarized. There might be some question like why different acharyas are giving different names. So, yes, this freedom is allowed because they are writing the commentaries. So, they can give some title to the chapters. It does not mean that they'll change the contents of the chapter, but yeah, they have the liberty to change the name of the title. But the name of the title should justify the content also. And it is justifying. Actually, in second chapter, you will see everything summarized. So you will find all types of yoga mentioned here. The confusion solution, everything you will get in chapter 2 only. Okay. So text number 9. Let me share my screen. What is the long weekend about? Like, is there some festival?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it's Memorial Day.
Memory for what? Like whose memorial?
A
World
memory
War or
for
something?
no, yeah, that soldiers who died in different wars, basically World War. So that's why they observe here as Memorial Day on last Monday of May, every last Monday of May.
Oh, interesting. Never knew this. Okay, I'll note this in my history. Any Srila Prabhupada says war is battle between two egos.
Yes,
Anyway, Atha
it's not only
Mangalacharan.
war, every
Uh-huh.
fight also. War in every fight also.
Yeah,
Namaste.
obviously, but I just remembered Srila Prabhupada, so I just said it in that way. But you
Expect
are also
more
right.
with clutch cars.
Okay. अथ मङ्गलाचरण ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिछनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद obviously since we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas we have to pray to the Panch Tattva and Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande Balopi Yadanugraha Tarinnana Madagraha Vyatam Samsara Sagara Kathanchana Smrite Yasmin Duskaram Sukaram Bhavet Vipritam Vismritam Yasyat Sri Chaitanya Namamitam. So I am bringing my humble respect and obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, by whose remembrance anything which is very difficult will become very easier. And if someone forgets Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then even if anything which is very easy will become the most difficult. So that's the potency of remembering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyway, So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2, verse number 9. So once again, Arjun set the points of dejection that I don't know what to do, I can't understand, please help me. He has surrendered to Krishna. Even after surrendering, he said, I don't know what to do. Then Krishna said, oh, you are surrendering, but you behave like my friends. How will I teach you? He said, no, 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 I'll not no more counter anything. So just whatever you will tell, whatever best for me, Shreya, please tell me, I'm going to do it. Then, just to summarize what happened, because the conversation is being done, is being held between Dhritarashtra and Sanjay, right? Because the first verse was spoken by Dhritarashtra. So now Sanjay is saying something. Samjaya Uvacha. So you all have to recite. Okay, so we are reciting. Samjaya Uvacha. Eva Muktva Hrishikesham Gudakeshah Parantapah Na Yotsya iti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babhuvaha. So, okay, better. Anyway, so Sanjay Uvacha, Shri Sanjay Mahashay, he says, Uvacha, he says, Evam Uktva. Evam Uktva means thus by speaking like this. Because there were so many conversations, right? So many arguments, counter arguments, pramad, counter pramad, this shastra, that shastra, this mood, that mood. So much things were happening. So thus speaking like this, Rishi Kesham, I'm repeating this once again, every time or most of the times, whenever the name of the Lord or Arjun comes, there is some significance. So here the word Rishikesham, the name of the Lord is Rishikesh, which I told already, right? Rishikesh. Rishik means senses and Ish means controller. The controller of senses, the master of senses, or the Lord of senses. That is Lord Krishna. Guda Keshaha, in the beginning of chapter 1, the very first time when Arjun was called Guda Keshaha, so we heard multiple meanings of this name Guda Keshaha. So, Gudak Ishaha, one who has been victorious over ignorance or sleep. That is Gudakeshaha. Gudaka Isha. That was the meaning like Ka is Brahma, Ishaha is Shivji, Gudak Ishaha and Vishnu. So, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shivji, they all reside in this name. And there was one story how in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 88th chapter, I'm forgetting the chapter, when the sons of the Brahmins were stolen by Mahavishnu. So both Krishna and Arjun, they both went there. And Mahavishnu there said that I did this act just to see both of you. That means the form of Krishna and the loving exchange between Krishna and his Sakha Arjun is so pleasing and so high in rest that even Mahavishnu is very much eager to see Krishna. So sometimes people give only Abhed theory. Abhed means non-difference. There is no difference between Vishnu and Krishna. Yes, it is correct, but it is not 100% right because there is difference also and there is non-differential attributes also. So how they are same? They are same because they are same Vishnu Tattva. Both are Satchidananda, both are Bhagavan. But what is the difference? The difference is in Ras Tattva. There are certain qualities in Krishna which Vishnu do not show, right? So that is why Mahavishnu says that I was very much eager to see both of you. Anyway, so Gudakeshaha, one who has conquered sleep. My father name is also Gudakesh, by the way. Anyway, so Parantapa, Parantapa. This word has also been said in chapter number 1. So Parantapaha, Tapa means giving heat, tap. So Parantapaha giving heat or trouble to the enemies. That is Parantapaha. Or Srila Prabhupada translates this as the chastiser of enemies. Because when you chastise someone, automatically they become red. How? By anger. So na yotsya iti govinda. So na yotsya. Yotsya yuddha yuyutsu All these words are coming from single root dhatu of Sanskrit. Yuyutsu, Yotsya, Yuddha. Anyway. So na Yotse, I will not fight. Iti, by saying this, Govindam, to whom? It is said Govinda. Now you see, two names of Krishna and two names of Arjuna are being used here, right? So Mehika, can you tell me the two names of Krishna here?
Rishikesham and Govinda.
Very nice. And Anshuman Prabhu, can you tell me the two names of Arjun here? Anshuman
हरे
Prabhu?
कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण
Yes,
प्रभु
Prabhu.
जी, प्रभु जी, कूड़ा केस है,
And the second
परंत
name?
परंत परंत
Very nice. See how unique. In one verse, we are having two names of Krishna and two names of Arjun. Right? The interesting verse. So it says that now Sanjay is saying that having thus spoken like this, the Arjun, who is chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, "Oh Govind, I shall not fight." See why two names are being used here. So better I'll show you this verse from my laptop. Okay, you see why two names are used. So because Sanjay is originally speaking, so having thus spoken, Arjun, the chastiser of enemies, because this conversation is actually being said not between just Sanjay and Dhritarashtra. If you remember, in the very first session, I told you that this conversation is between Janmejay and Vaishampayan Rishi. No, you all forgot that. Anyway, so in Mahabharata, Bhishma Parva, these two personalities were discussing, and then suddenly in Bhishma Parva, this whole chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that whole episode of Bhagavad Gita, it comes. So that conversation is also here. So having thus spoken, Arjun, who is the chastiser of enemies, like that means Parantapa is kind of adjective, a quality of Arjun, which is obviously his name also, but a quality being added, like Arjun, who is the chastiser of enemies, or here Arjun is actually Gudakesh. Okay, so Gudakesh, the chastiser of enemies, told whom? Krishna. Who is who? Rishikesha. So here Krishna is Rishikesh. And what did he say? Oh Govinda, this Govindam. Na Yotsya, I will not fight. And then what happened? Uktva, thus saying this, Tushnim Bhavuva. Tushnim means he became Mauna, completely silent. Okay, so very easy to understand. Okay, can someone read, please? Make a word.
Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. But Sanjaya disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies, Parantapa. Although Arjuna was for the time being overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered unto Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness and would then surely fight. Thus, Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated, since
Very nice.
Arjuna would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end.
Thank you. So now you see here that Srila Prabhupada is using the term that Arjun, although was at that time was overwhelmed with false grief, and the reason was family affection. But he surrendered to Krishna, who is Krishna? Supreme spiritual master. But the line which is very important here is that he says that this indicates that very soon he'll be freed from false lamentation. So what does this mean? So we have to understand the term initiation here. So initiation, I don't know what is happening. Anyway, so in initiation, which is in Sanskrit called Diksha. I hope you can see my screen, right? So Diksha is made from two words. So the means Divya Jnan and Cha means Shayati. So Diksha, two things should happen. First is cultivation of transcendental knowledge. And second thing, reduction in material sense gratification. This should happen. If this will not happen, then the Diksha is not successful. So when you see the term initiation, it naturally means that something is starting, right? Something begun. But what begun? These two things, cultivation of transcendental knowledge and reduction in material sense gratification. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Diksha Kale Shishya Kare Atma Samarpana. During the time of initiation, a student or a Shishya, what does he do? A disciple, he does Atma Samarpana. He completely surrenders. So when he surrenders, what does he actually surrender? He surrenders his free will. See, nothing is in our control. Even if I pick this pen up, now imagine how many energies of the Lord are involved here. Me as a soul sitting here is just having a desire that this pen should be brought up from the table to this place. Now everything else, my muscular energy, my skeletal energy, all the blood vessels, my mind, which is having this desire to pick it up, then the intelligence which gave the vivek of using my thumb and finger to pick it up, the analysis that how much energy would be required, the actual environmental factors working upon here, the adhishtata devtas of senses who are giving me the power to pick this up. Nothing of these elements are in our control. Only one thing, we desired. So Krishna is upadrishta. There is two different. See, Krishna, Jiva. Krishna is upadrishta, and we are simply drishta, which means seer, overseer. So we sitting in this body are only the one who is just like witness, and he witnesses the witness. All right. So many energies of the Lord are involved here. So what do we have? Just this free will, very minute free will. That only we have to surrender to the Guru. And what does we do with our free will? We run away to cultivate the transcendental knowledge, and we run away in reducing the material sense gratification. Or in other terms, we run away to cultivate material knowledge, and we don't run away, we run towards cultivating material knowledge, and we also run towards increasing our material sense gratification. We just have to do the opposite of these two, and then the Diksha will be success. And it does not mean just a single point, it is a whole process going. All right. Anyway, so this is why Srila Prabhupada is saying that since Krishna, as a spiritual master, is having Arjun as a disciple. So just by surrendering, it means that he would soon be free. It can be immediately also, but because it is a process, this Diksha is a process. It is not just like a one-time ceremony. It is a process. That is why some time the disciple and the guru, this relationship, it will take some time to make sure these two steps, cultivation and reduction, these two things might happen. And this, which I wrote here, Diksha, this is given by actually Jiva Goswami. Okay. Divya Jnanam. Let me see if I can. Divya Jnanam Kshapayati iti Diksha. Divya Jnanam or transcendental knowledge, and Ksha means to destroy. Okay. Divya Jnanam Kshapayati iti Diksha. Anyway, so now we'll read the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay. So we are not so fortunate. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has not given any commentary here. Anyway, we have another Acharya, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. So let's see what he says. He says, Tato Arjunah kim akarod iti apekshayam Sanjay vacha evam muktaveti adi. So Sanjay is replying to Dhritarashtra with this verse actually. Because Tato Arjuna kim akarot, Dhritarashtra is asking, then what did Arjun do? Because after saying so many negative things towards fighting and Krishna trying his best at that moment, because obviously his best is something else. We can't even imagine how best. Anyway, at that moment, Krishna was trying his best to convince Arjun, but Arjun was not ready. So finally, what did Arjun do? Arjun kim akarot. What did he do? Then by this, Sanjay is replying to Dhritarashtra. And what does he reply? He says, Guna kesho rishi kesham prati evam na hi prapashyamiti adina yuddhasya shokanivartaktvam uktva parantapopi govindam sarva vedagnyam prati na yotse iti choktveti yogyam. So by saying, I will not fight, iti choktveti yogyam, by saying, I will not fight, Arjun, who is Gudakesha, the conqueror of sleep, he said to whom? Rishikesha. Who is Rishikesh? Controller of senses. What he is saying? Prati evam nahi prapashyamiti adina yuddhasya. I do not know that how by fighting my lamentation will go away. This is the main question of Arjun. That you are saying me to fight, but my lamentation is something else. So I don't know how by fighting, killing my relatives, my lamentation will go. So Arjun, who is thus being Shoka Nivartakam, he is completely lamenting. He is saying Parantapopi Govindam. So Arjun, who is Parantapa, he is speaking to Govind. Now, who is Govind? Sarva Vedagnyam. Govind is the knower of all the Vedas. He is the only personality who know all the Vedas. And no Jeev can understand all the Vedas. He may memorize it, but that is also not possible very easily. So this is the difference between God and the Jivas. So Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu is saying the same statement in very poetic way. So what else we have? Tatra Hrishikeshatvad Buddhim Yuddhe Pravartayishyati. So now he is telling the rahasya or secret behind using this term Rishikesh. So he's saying Rishikeshatvad Buddhim Yuddhe Pravartayishyati. He's saying that since Krishna is the Lord of all the senses, so very soon Arjun's senses are being controlled by Krishna only. And Krishna is saying Arjun to fight. Now Arjun is not ready to fight. But Arjun surrendered his free will by becoming a disciple of Krishna. Then for sure, so Sanjay is giving a taunt to Dhritarashtra, ki Baba, that person who is giving Upadesh, na, or is about to give Upadesh, or who is speaking to Arjun, he is Rishikesha. He is the controller of senses, your mind and Arjun also. So very soon he will make Arjun to manifest such intelligence that he'll fight. Yuddhe Praviteshi. Then he says how that intelligence will come, why this intelligence word is used. So tat sarva veda viditvad yuddhe swadharmatvam graha yishyati ti vyajya dhatarashtra hidri samjata swaputra yarjas nirasyate. So by using the word Govinda. Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the cows or pleasure to the senses. But Govinda also means the knower of all the Vedas. There is another meaning of Govinda. See, one word can have so many meanings. So Govinda, Vinda, with, go, knowing all the Vedas. Sanjay is trying to say that since Arjun is bewildered, so two things. By Rishikesh, he will control the senses of Arjun and then he will make Arjun fight. And second, by because Krishna is Govind, the knower of all Vedas, then very soon Lord will make Arjun accept. What does he will make him accept? Sadharmatvam grahishyasiti. What is the swadharma of Arjun as a Kshatriya? To fight. So very soon the knower of the Vedas, Govind, will make Arjun understand his real dharma. And then definitely Arjun will fight. In this way, what Sanjay wants to achieve, Dhritarashtra Hirdi, whatever going on in the heart of Dhritarashtra, Hridi, Samajata Swaputra Rajasata, because he has in his heart what? Swaputra Rajasya, my son should become the king, or he may remain the king, although he was never a king. He was Karyabhari Raja. Karyabhari means temporary. We discussed that earlier. So this is in the heart of Dhritarashtra. Swaputra Rajasa Nirasyate. So there is a fire in the heart of Dhritarashtra, and that fire is burning and it's giving pleasure. That fire is not giving pain. That because Kshatriya, that fire is giving some spirit. He can take that word. So he's like, oh, my son will now become the king. There is no objection because the greatest warrior from the Pandav side, Arjun, is not ready to fight. But Sanjay, by using these two words, Rishikesh and Govinda, is saying, don't worry, definitely your son will not become the king. He will die in that battlefield. So Nirasyate, he extinguished the fire. So it's the bad news for Dhritarashtra. Anyway, so easy verse. So we understood the secret of the two words used, Govinda and Rishikesha. And he's also saying Gudakesha. That means Arjun is conqueror of sleep. So don't understand that he's the someone who is into avidya. He is conqueror of avidya, ignorance. So that is also another meaning given by one more acharya, which we haven't read right now. Okay, so verse number 10th of the second chapter. Please recite. Tam uvacha hrishikeshah prahassan eva bharata सेनायोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तम् idam vachah. Tam uvacha. Thus by saying, Rishikeshah prasanna iva bharatah. Who is Rishikesha? Krishna. What happened with him? He is prasanna iva. He smiled. And smiled on whom? Bharata. On Arjun. Because if someone is doing foolish act, what does the intelligent person does? He'll smile. My Sanskrit teacher, he told me the difference between a foolish person, an intelligent person, and someone who is like Vivekiya, one who can discriminate between things very nicely. Because just by having information, you may be intelligent. But how to differentiate between those knowledge, the practical application, you become a Vivekiya person. We heard this name, na? Vivek. Must be having some friend Vivek. So Vivek means this only. Discrimination of what is right and wrong, not just information. So if a mistake is committed by someone, for example, just this is the example of my Sanskrit teacher in class 7th. So he told that if some performance, some debate competition or some elocution competition, poem recitation, something is going on. Maybe that person would be the master of ceremony. He committed some mistake in speaking. Then the foolish person will immediately correct him. An intelligent person will simply smile, seeing the foolishness. But a Vivekiya person, what he will do, after the ceremony is over, he'll go to that person and then explain him that this went wrong. Please try to correct it. You see, a foolish person will immediately, hey, क्या बोल रहे हो गलत है भाई ऐसे होता है. For example, there are people who cannot do correct pronunciation of Shah and Shah. Every time they'll speak Sa only. Rishikesh, Sant Gopinath, and Suman. They'll go like this only. So Sa, Sa, Sa. So if they are in private place, then someone can correct them if they have some kind of relation. But what about public? One should not correct in public places like this because you will just agitate that person and you'll hurt their ego. But the person should also be humble enough to accept correction in any form. It is not like we should take this victim card. Hey, that person corrected me in public, so that person is actually foolish. No, no, no. This is not the way to take. When you get a knowledge, you have to take from both the ends. So you should not correct someone, but if someone corrects you in public, be humble to accept it. ठीक है? Don't start taking a red flag march that I was being criticized in public. That is not correct. My ego was hurt. There is another word for self-respect, ego. When someone says, "Na, my self-respect was tarnished by that person," the ultimate reason is my ego was shattered. So it is a very sophisticated way of saying my ego was disturbed. Self-respect. What self-respect? Respect is comparative. Like someone would respect you for your qualities, maybe out of pressure, maybe out of fear. You may be a very powerful person. Someone would respect you. Why? Because you are a dictator, you will kill that person. So they are saluting you all the time. Maybe they love you, that's why they respect you. They have some affectionate behavior, or maybe you have some qualities which very much inspire them. So there can be many reasons to respect you. What is this self-respect? I never understood this term self-respect. It is only ego. Respect is which you give. What you claim for yourself is ego only. That is why in Shikshashtakam we have Amanina Manadena. Nothing for yourself. What is I went there, they didn't offer me chair. Oh, who are you, bhai? Be humble enough to sit on ground here. What's the first? And if you are having some kind of trouble in your back or maybe knee, request for a chair. See, one should be not entitled for respect. There is something which you earn, maybe by wisdom, maybe by humility, maybe by good vocabulary. Something, some quality should be there at least, even if you are demanding some kind of respect. Let's just come to a liberal platform, not to be very strict uh, religious platform, but still, even if you want respect, earn it. What have we done in life that we should be respected? We learned a lot of advantages of becoming spiritual master in the last session, right? Yet people are so much, not even a single advantage all 15, 20 of us could give. Whatever advantage was there, that was disadvantage only. Still, people are so much in a rat race to just enter into Vyasasana, give lectures, become a guru. So it's very difficult business. So in this way, Tam Uvacha Rishikeshaha. Then at this point, Rishikesha, again this word is being used here. Prasanna Iva Bharata. Krishna smiled at Arjun and he said, Senayor Ubhyor Madhye Vishidantam Idam Vacha. So this is Sanjay. Sanjay only speaking this. So he's about to extinguish the fire in the heart of Dhritarashtra, who wants to have his son become the king. Anyway, so Senayor Ubhyor Madhye, we have seen this verse in the chapter number 1 also. Senayor in among the army, both the armies, Ubhayor Madhye, in the very center of both the armies, Vishidantam Idam Vachaha. Then Krishna spoke some word onto Bharata, that means Arjun, who was Vishidantang, lamenting. So Arjun was very grief-stricken. Now, Mika, I would request you to read this purport by Srila Prabhupada. It's very nice.
The talk was going on between intimate friends, namely the Hrishikesh and the Gurukesha. As friends, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became a student of the other. Krishna was smiling because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as a master of everyone. And yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. But when he was accepted as a master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like a master, with gravity as it is required. It appears when the talk between the master and the disciple was openly exchanged in the presence of both armies, so that all were benefited. So the talks of Bhagavad Gita are not for any particular person, society, or community, but they are for all, and friends or enemies are equally entitled to hear that.
That means the message of Bhagavad Gita was not just heard by Arjun. It was heard by all those who were present in that army, who were able to hear, obviously. So, here, by which words Prabhupada is trying to conclude this? This is by this. Sena yor ubhyor madhya. We'll see in the commentary of the Acharya. Now, this world, as Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as the master of everyone. Now, by saying master of everyone means Rishikesha. But yet, the Lord agrees to be his friend. There is the sweetness of Krishna. Except Sanatan Dharma, you will not find this qualities of Lord everywhere. Even if you go to Christianity, Judaism, Islam, anywhere you go, all you will find is that the Lord is very powerful, creator. He's this, he's that, he's doing all this with this majestic abilities. But if you love, how sweet is the Lord? Can your Lord dance? Can your Lord sing? Can your Lord be present here to deal with me? Can your Lord accept me as who I am? Because in Islam and Christianity, there is no proper concept of reincarnation. It's like if you accept Jesus, you'll go to heaven. Even though you are sinful, just repent, go to the church and just say, I have sinned, and then go back, sin again. Every Sunday, go there, say, I have sinned, go back, do sins again. Sunday, let's repeat. So, this, and if you have accepted, you are being baptized, and at the end of life, Jesus will come to save you in heaven. Same goes for Islam also. If you accept Allah, then definitely at the end of the life, you will go to Jannat. If you have done namaz and so many things, even if you have not done these things, still you submit to the will of Allah, you will go to heaven. Even you do lots and lots of sin, they already do. But still, if you just accept Him as the Lord, you will go to heaven, Jannat. But if you don't, very same, you have the conclusion. You will burn in the fire of hell. Okay, how long? Forever and ever and ever. Now imagine a child who is just born 15 minutes into this world. He was never baptized. He was never made a proper Muslim. He died. So he went to hell. So I asked this question to few of my Muslim friends, yet to answer anyway. So this concept of just one life you have to give, because if you don't give, you'll go to hell, is problem. Anyway, so this sweetness of the Lord, that he is a friend also, a son, a lover. For a devotee, he wants him in such a role. Now, can we ask, I want Jesus as my lover? Yeah, there are some concepts in Bible, but I want Jesus as my friend. Okay, there is a problem here because he is supreme authority. You cannot treat him as a friend. Jesus as my son? No, definitely not. He's a father figure. That's a problem. Do I want Allah as my son? It's very big offense in Islam. Cannot do this. This is problem. But here, how the Lord is sweet, that is explained. Anyway, yet the Lord who is Rishikesha, still accepts being as a friend, son, or lover for a devotee who wants him such a role. So it is as per the desire of the sadhaka. So I'll not go much into this detail. Okay, sadhaka, should he desire now or later, at what stage? At least we should chant our 16 rounds properly. Anyway, but when he was accepted as the master, he at once assumed the role. So in this verse, something is written here which indicates that now Krishna is entering the role of a guru. And he spoke to Krishna with lots of gravity as it was required. So the message or the Vani of a spiritual master should be taken very seriously. although he says something in a joking manner, right? So we see in the life of Srila Prabhupada, he gave lots and lots of instructions in a very joking manner. But those should be taken very seriously as per time, place, and circumstances. Okay. So it appears that the talk was between disciple and guru in openly. Anyway, we already spoke about this. Okay. So let's see the commentary of the acharyas. Let me see if there is any issue in screen share. Okay. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given a commentary. We'll see this. So he says, okay, now he will be chastised. Aho, twapyetvan etavan khalva aviveka iti. Now aviveka. Now he is being chastised by Krishna. Now we have to be very ready. See how serious a spiritual master is. He is saying that you have shown the lack of judgment. Aviveka. What is right, what is wrong? We already went into the detail of the term Vivek. So this is just the opposite. What to do, what not to do. By saying this, that Krishna is saying you just show that you don't have any kind of judgmental, you don't have the creativity or quality of having the right judgment. Then iti sakhya bhavena tam prahasan anauchitya prakashena lajjam budo nimajjiyan eva iti. So Krishna laughed at him as a friend, but he could not laugh as a friend because now Arjun has taken shelter of Krishna as a disciple. So by laughing like a friend, by the word prahasan, it will be anuchitya. You see this term? Anuchit. Anauchitya prakashena. Because a spiritual master, imagine a disciple doing something wrong or speaking something very foolish, and a spiritual master is like, Murkh kahin ka. Guru does not do such kind of behavior. So by this prahasan, it is like lajjam budo nimajjaniva. If a guru will smile, not smile, if laugh like this, then it will be very embarrassing. Lajjam budau. Ambud means ocean. Lajjam means embarrassment. So it would be like Arjun would drown in the ocean of embarrassment if Krishna would have been laughing like this between both the armies. Because now he's spiritual master, he can do anything. Imagine Arjun saying, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And Krishna is like, ha 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 ha. Arjun would be in the ocean of embarrassment because whatever he did, unworthy action. Anyway, iti tadadinam shishya bhavam prapte tasmin hasyam anuchitam iti. That means now because Arjun is in a position of a student, so this laughing would be very improper. So what happened? Adha roshtha nikunchanena hasyam avarnapsam cheti artha. So now Krishna suppressed his laugh. Actually, if someone does something foolish, it is natural to laugh. But to laugh out loud is foolishness. Among friends, laughing out loud is not foolishness because there is a relation of friendship. Two friends can laugh in this way. One friend does something very foolish. Like just two friends are walking, one fell down on a banana peel, other can laugh. That's okay. That's between friendship. Although slipping on a banana peel happens only in cartoons. It never happened in real life. Even I tried personally, I tried myself at home when I was young. So you don't slip in that way. All you do is create a mess. So how did Krishna laugh? Because prahasan iva. This iva means laughed like. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Adharoshta nikunchanena hasyam. That means Krishna, he suppressed his laugh by closing his lips. Now, I am not very good in acting, but it's something like that. So he laughed like that, suppressed his laughter with both the lips. Adhar Oshtha. This is called Adhar, this lower lip, and this upper lip is called Oshtha. So Adhar Oshtha Nikunchanena Hasyam Avarnaswam Cheti Tirtha. That means He just suppressed his smile by the lips. Anyway, now let's see what Acharya say further. ऋषिकेश इति पूर्वं प्रेमणैवार्जुन वान्नियमो अपि साम्प्रताम् अर्जुन हित कारितत्वात् प्रेमणैवार्जुन मनोनियन्तापि भवतीति भावः. So again, because the term Rishikesh is being used, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Prabhupada is saying that the Lord of the senses, earlier, if you remember, he was being controlled by the words of Arjun, right? Because in Bhagavad Gita 1.24, what did he say? He said, Sena yor madhye ratham sthapya me achyuta. Oh Lord, please take my rath in the middle of the two armies. And at that time, we heard the quality of Krishna. At that time also, Rishikesh word was used. But there, the author is trying to say that, see, the Lord, who is the controller of all the senses, was being controlled by the sweet words of Arjun out of love. Like Krishna can control everyone, but Arjun is his friend and a lover and friendship relation. So Arjun just said very politely, please take me to the middle of the both the armies. And Arjun, out of Krishna, out of driven by love, he just took the chariot and brought it in between. So that was before. But here, Rishikesh is something else. So earlier, the Lord was being controlled by the words of Arjun, and now he is Rishikesh, he is the controller of Arjuna's mind. Please understand this point. Arjun hit karitvat premnaiv Arjun mano niyantapi. Mano niyantapi. You see this term? Mano, that means mind. Niyantapi bhavatiti bhavaha. Like Arjun. Earlier he was premnaiv Arjuna. Earlier it was out of love. From love to mind control. Okay? So now he is the controller of Arjuna's mind. But for what? सेनायोर उभयोर मध्ये इति अर्जुनस्य विषादो भगवता प्रबोधश्च उभायाम सेनाउभयाम समन्वित दृष्टि विद्वा. Same thing which Prabhupada said. So Prabhupada is writing exactly what the acharyas have said here, that this Arjun's lamentation and Krishna's consolation was actually seen by both the armies. So senayor ubhayor madhye. Now let's see what Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu is saying. If it is similar, then we can skip also. But anyway, let's read it. Because from next class, we have to read from verse number 10 and verse number 11, which is the starting of actual, because Krishna will actual speak like a spiritual master for all of us, not just for Arjun. So, Vyangam Artham Prakashayan Aha Tam Uvacheti. This verse is how Krishna is speaking in Vyanga. Vyanga means chastisement. So there are three, Vyanga, Abhida, Lakshana. Okay, let's see. So there are three shaili of speaking or statement making. One is called Abhidha. Second is called Lakshana. And third is called Vyangatmak. Abhidha means straight word. Lakshana means secondary term talk. I don't know what exactly to speak in this, but let's see. Vyangatmak means what we'll say to Vyanga. Vyanga. Taunting. So Abhidha, when something is said very straightforward, there is no hidden meaning, there is no hidden agenda, then that is Abhidha. For example, get me a glass of water. It's Abhidha. Now Lakshana, that means you want to say something, but you will not say it directly. You will say it in a secondary term. Like, आज बहुत गर्मी है ना, गला सूख जाता है ना ऐसी गर्मी में. This is Lakshana. Now what is व्यंग्यात्मक? आजकल के तो बच्चों को इतना भी नहीं है कि पानी दे दे कम से कम गेस्ट आए तो. This is a Vyangat. Very simple. Getting a glass of water. Please get me a glass of water. Oh, it's too hot, na? No, no, today's children don't know how to give a glass of water to a guest if he has arrived, na? Right? Really? Or you will say, what is the first thing someone should do if a guest arrives? Should they ask a glass of water or should they ask them to have a good rest? Like it is also Vyang, although he's asking a question. So there are various stutis in Srimad Bhagavatam which are based on these. For example, Shripad Adi Shankaracharya, he gave his commentary in this format, Lakshana. If you will read Chaitanya Charitamrita, then you will get to know. Anyway, so Vyangatmak Shaili. So there is one stuti by Rukmani Maharani to Krishna. The only transcendental love letter which brahmacharis, Vanaprasthis, and sannyasis, and we all can read with no harm. We have no right to read any other love letter, but this love letter we can read. It is in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there, Srimati Kunti Mahanani says, Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shanvitam te. Now Krishna, when he was hearing the letter which was being read by the Brahmana who brought it from Vidarbha to Dwarka. So that Brahman was reading the letter and Krishna was hearing, sitting on his Simhasan. So he's saying Shrutva Gunan. So Rukmani Devi is saying, I heard about Shrutva Gunan, about your qualities, oh dear Krishna. Because in just few verses, Rukmani Devi expressed everything. How I fell in love with you, how you should come to this place, how you should kidnap me, all this planning and how I will meet you, how you will take me away, and how everything will be there. Just in few verses, she explained everything. It's amazing, actually, this stuti. It is also called Vyaja stuti. Vyaja stuti is also like Vyangatma. Saying this Vyaja stuti is kind of combination of Vyang and Lakshan. Speaking secondary, but also in a taunting manner. So we'll not go into that much detail, but this one example you should hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is very nice. So she says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur speaks in such manner. He says, because he speaks in a conversation format, right? So Krishna is saying to Rukmani Devi, hey Rukmani, aren't you having any kind of lajja or shame that you are writing a love letter like this? Is this moral standard of a lady to behave like this? To write a letter to someone whom you don't even know? So she says, Shrutva Gunan. No, 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 I know you. I've heard about you. I've heard about all your qualities and I fell in love with you. Okay, you heard about my qualities, but what qualities? Bhuvana Sundara. You are Bhuvana Sundar. You are most beautiful person ever in this whole Bhuvan. No one is as equal or above you in beauty. That's why I fell in love with you. Then Krishna is saying, oh, don't you have any shame writing all this in a letter and sending it via a Brahman? Then Rukmani Devi is saying, actually, this is 50% my fault that I am writing all this. I fell in love with you because I've heard about you from my childhood. But 50% fault is yours also. Krishna is saying, how come 50% is my fault? You are writing the letter. You heard about me. So what is my fault? So Rukmani Devi is saying, who told you to be that much beautiful? So this is 50% your fault. It's not my fault alone. 50% mine, 50% yours. So this is like Vyajastuti Vyangatmanu. Anyway. So let's see what Acharya is saying. Okay, so just should we read the commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan? Something, I think same only. Okay, so similar commentary is given by Vyangam Artham Prakasham Maham Uvacheti Tad Vishidantam. So in Vyang, like in uh, a format of Vyang, that means taunt, this is being said. To whom? To Vishidantam Arjun, the one who is lamenting. And Rishikesh Bhagwan is saying, Ashocyan iti adikam ati gambhirartham vachanam uva. So this is being said actually in a very uh, gambhir manner. Same thing. The commentary is similar to what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Anyway, so we'll end the class here. It's already 9 anyway in India. So from next class, Lord is going to speak. Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Okay.
And this is very important verse. Please do not mix next class because from here the Samkhya Darshan will actually begin. There is actually chastisement. I'll just show you. See how big commentary is there from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So in Sanskrit it is like this much big. So in like translation you can understand how long it will be. So very important words are being used here. Ashocyan, Anavashocyan, Gatasun, Agatasun. So we all have to read this, and it is like the structural start of the message by Sri Krishna. And Baldev Vidyabhushan has also given 2 paragraphs. Anyway, so I would like to thank all of you for being here and tolerating whatever I said here. And I'm really thankful also for your patience, kindness in taking out your time to attend this. So whatever mistakes I have done, please do correct me. I'm always looking for feedbacks because I have to improve myself all the time, because whatever is trackable is improvable, is said by His Grace Amog Leela Prabhu. So I do track all my mistakes more than what I track, what I somehow gets any success. That is also apparent. So please help me in improving those mistakes. And if you want to give any kind of credit, give to my Gurujanas. Nothing belongs to me. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class and the explanation which you provided for the 2 verses today. Prabhuji, do you have few minutes for the question answers if we have some?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. So dear devotees, if anybody has any questions related to today's class, please raise your hands and ask the question. Anshuman Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna. Pranam.
प्रभु जी, आपने जो ओवरसियर और सीयर के बारे में जो बोला था, सॉरी,
Mhm.
तो उसमें प्रभु जी आपने बोला था कि भगवान श्री कृष्ण उपदृष्टा है और जीवा वो दृष्टा है। तो प्रभु जो अनुमंता उपदृष्टा जो लेक्चर में बोलते हैं स्पेशली, तो तो अगर हम दृष्टा हैं, हम भी सीयर हैं, तो हमारे पास फ्री विल कैसे आ गया? तो ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग मुझे लगा।
Okay. So free will is not something जो आ गया. It is inherent with us. ये जीव कर सकता है. इच्छा करना ये इंडिपेंडेंट है जीव के पास. Although it is affected by so many things, लेकिन फिर भी हम उसको व्यक्त कर सकते हैं. लेकिन उसको एक्सप्रेस होने में to make sure that desire is expressed and fulfilled, so much machinery is used. That machinery, everything is controlled by the energies of Krishna. That's it. So we'll read it about in chapter number 13, verse number 23. Upadrishtanamanta Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. So when we'll read the difference between Kshetrajna, Jnanam, Jneyam, and Prakriti Purusha, in there we'll read it in detail. I'll make a proper diagram also how a jiva is covered by so many layers. What is Antahakaranam? Mind, intelligence, senses, ego, object of senses. We'll discuss that in chapter number 13 in very detail. One of the most technical chapters.
और प्रभु जी और
Okay.
एक क्वेश्चन था प्रभु।
हम्म
प्रभु जी, जो दूसरे मतलब रिलीजन में तो वो बोलते हैं कि हम गॉड को ज्यादा कुछ मतलब ऐसे आज फ्रेंड, आज मदर, ये सब डिफरेंट टाइप रस्म में हम उनको कुछ एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर सकते। बट वो एक बार मतलब कन्वर्सेशन में एक हुआ था, तो इस्कॉन में प्रभु जी जो बाल गोपाल जो पुष्टि मार्ग संप्रदाय के जो जो वाला प्रोसेस है, जो बाल गोपाल स्थापन करके उनको एज डीटी पूजा करते हैं, तो उसको मतलब मेरे एक दोस्त ने भी मुझे बोले थे, वो इस्कॉन के डिवोटी हैं, वो बोले थे कि वो हमारे इस्कॉन में अलाउड नहीं है, क्योंकि हम सुपरसीड नहीं करना चाहते हैं डायरेक्टली टू यशोदा माता, के पोजीशन में हम जाके भगवान को प्रे करना, ये दिस इज नॉट एक्चुअली गुड। तो हमको ये वैधि प्रोसेस फॉलो करके फिर जाके जब हम परफेक्ट होते हैं, तब जब रसा डेवलप होता है तब जाके करते हैं। तो प्रभु जी ये क्यों अलाउड नहीं है इनिशियली, वो क्वेश्चन था, तो इसके रिलेटेड था इसलिए कुछ।
So, since we are in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, ISKCON is an institution which is following the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So, in Gaudiya Vaishnava, the highest worship is of Radha Krishna in Kishore form. Krishna, 15 years, 7 months, 7 months, 14 days. Radharani, 14 years, 11 months, 28 days. So, this is the Nitya age. I may be a little bit wrong here and there, but 15 years and 14 years. You just take this average. So, we worship Radha and Krishna in this Rupa. But this worship is in the platform of prema. The deity worship which we do, although the form of the deity is of Radha Krishna, but the worship method is as per Pancharatrik Vidhi of Lakshmi Narayan. Please understand. We are not worshipping as per our moods externally to the deities. The worship is as per Pancharatrik Vidhi, which is given by Bhagavan Shiva to Narad Muni, which we are following in Kali Yuga. So we are worshipping in the roop of all the methods are being done as if Lakshmi Narayan are there. That is why you see there is so much opulence, so much cleanliness standards. Once one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, he took Brajraj and applied it on the deities' hands and legs. Srila Prabhupada went to the altar and said, "What is this?" He said, "Prabhupada, Brajraj." Prabhupada said, "This is dust. Just clean it." You see the standard. It is to be clean. This standard is of Lakshmi Narayan worship. So because we are in a sampradaya, there is a proper method of worship which is being coming down. So we don't transgress that method. Now imagine sticking it back to the same. Why the Pushti Margis are not worshiping Radha Krishna in Kishore form? Because that is their standard set of worship which is coming in their sampradaya. Now imagine going to the Sri Sampradaya and saying, "Hey, why you are not worshipping Radha Krishna in the Rasabha form which we are doing in Rag Bhakti?" So it is not, it doesn't work like this, na? Because a certain kind of upasana, it comes down in Guru Shishya's parampara. So one does not transgresses that. Although by that same very worship, like we are worshipping Radha Krishna in Lakshmi Narayan form in the altar, by chanting the mantras of the Pancharatrika Vidhi, by that same very worship, because in Navada Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vandanam, Archanam. Archanam is also there. So Archa Vigraha Archanam process, the worshipping of Archa Vigraha deities or the deities of the temple, by the method of Archanam, given in Pancharatriki Vidhi, you can develop the love for Radha Krishna. You can develop the love for Narasimhadev also. By worshipping Krishna, you cannot get love for Narasimhadev. Why not? Can't Krishna give you love of Narasimhadev? You can. By worship of Radha Krishna, you can go to Saket Dham also. It is like we are limiting something. So instead of discriminating, you have to harmonize. You can tell him that, see, by chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, I can get Bal Gopal roop of Krishna also. Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj was always meditating on the roop of Gopala from his very childhood. He's a Nitya Siddha Vaishnava Bhai. Even his last words were Gopala, his three terms. By what? Hare Krishna Maha Mantra only. By worshipping Jagannath in Bhuvaneshwar temple where you are. So it is possible. There is no such discrimination. Mahamantra is Chintamani, deities are Chintamani, Bhagavatam is Chintamani. You can get so many things. See so many Chaitanya Parshad, Chandidas, he was worshipper of Kali. And Murari Gupta, worshipper of Sri Ramachandra. All followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such beautiful poems by Chandi Das for Radha Krishna love. No one can write it now. So it's not so limited. Okay.
हाँ प्रभु जी एक्चुअली वो बोलते हैं कि वो इमोशनल अटैचमेंट है मेरे और मेरे बाल गोपाल, मतलब डीटीज थे, तो उसको हम जस्टिफाई
Emotions,
नहीं कर सकते।
if you translate emotion to Sanskrit, it is bhava. So what is this bhava? It is material bhava or is it the bhava bhakti platform? If it is material bhava, I cannot answer anything. Material bhava is material bhava. Whatever you want, you can do. But it is a bhav bhakti platform. How you are able to express it? Bhav bhakti is very personal, confidential, individual. Expressing. Now imagine expressing your person as a wife, expressing your personal, individual, confidential relationship of husband with husband into public. So if someone is doing that and saying also it is my bhava bhakti stage, it is material bhava only. Forget it. Just respect that person, give him prasad, pray for him.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Anshuman Prabhu. Mihika?
Hey Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for the very amazing explanation on both of the verses. Prabhuji, my question is that why did Arjuna continue to argue with Krishna with his different statements before he had like no statements left and then he finally surrendered?
That's why, because in friendship, there are no rules of uh, what do you say, respect or culture. You can transgress them in friendship. Even though there are two friends who will say, I'll not speak to you for eternity, still at night before sleeping, he'll say that very same words in a text message also, I'll not speak to you, and then he'll sleep. So the friendship, it has a different rasa, a different taste. But once he surrendered, then if you remember the verse number 2.7, Krishna was speaking like, but you are always rejecting my points. So what did Arjun say? No, 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 I'll no more now reject any type of argument. Okay. So after accepting Krishna as Guru, this thing stopped. But in Sakhyaras, this gives a betterment of relationship. Now imagine two friends behaving not at all like friends. How boring that would be. Imagine Subal Sakha, Madhumangal Sakha, Balaram, Vasudama, Krishna, they all going to the forest to tender their cows and they are march fasting. They're not running here and there. All cows are walking straight with dasi bhav. Sari gaye dase hai bhai. Everyone is das of Krishna. So Krishna is like in the very front leading the march. All the cows, calves, and Gwal Bal children are just left, right, left. So what kind of rasa is this? So Krishna, he gets, you know what happened? I'll tell you what is Sakhya Bhav. Just one example. One of the acharyas, he says, when Krishna defeated Kamsa in the arena of Mathura, one of the Gwal Bal, he said, hey, this is our Krishna. How did he become so strong? Eh? And I defeated him. How is he so strong? He defeated the Bhoja dynasty king. I need to test it. Immediately that Gwal Sakha entered the arena. He said, Krishna, seems like you are cheating. You cheated and you defeated Kamsa. You are so weak, lean and thin. Just look at you. How could you defeat it? Come, fight with me. I need to check. And then Krishna and that Sakha had a fight. Guess what? Who won? That Sakha. Krishna was lying on the floor, eating dirt. And then everyone was like, ah, अपना कृष्ण ही है ये वो कम सी कच्चा का था this is Sakya. See, we all are laughing now because this is rus, it gives delight, है ना? Now imagine something bhayanak ras coming here. That Sakya was like, hey, you are imposter, taking out a knife, stabbing in the stomach of Krishna. This is bhayanak ras. No one would be laughing. So this is rasa, Sakya ras, very sweet. Okay,
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
that is why Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport which you read that because Krishna became very grave, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like the master with gravity. And then see this line, just one line I'll share, which you read. This line, as it is required. This behavior of Krishna was required. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much,
Please
Puji.
revise whatever you are reading, hearing today. You have to revise, everyone.
Thank you, Puji. Dear devotees, any other questions?
No
I
more
think probably
hands.
everyone is clear. So shall we wrap up the call, Prabhu?
As per your will, sir.
Thank you, Anushrauji. Thank you for the another session, wonderful session for the journey to Bhagavad Gita for 2 verses today, 10 and 11. No, 9 and 10. And so yeah, so वांछा कल्पवृक्ष का सिंधु भैवच पतितनाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हिस कृष्ण
जय
प्रभु जी की जय। और
जय
डियर
अमित
डिवोटीज,
की
हरे
जय।
कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण।